Welcome to Everyday Entrepreneurs Everywhere with your host, Chris Parker.
And welcome to Everyday Entrepreneurs Everywhere. And I have an amazing entrepreneur coming in from Mexico. I think you're in Mexico at the moment. I think that's where you oftentimes are, Pepe. Pepe Tam and I met actually on a global innovation challenge when we were on the same team, and later through the Purpose Alliance at purposealliance.org, we both went through the Exponential Innovator certification, hard word, process together, and have been connected. And so I'm really delighted to really learn more about Pepe, for the next 30 minutes or so. So Pepe, can you please share, what do you do and why do you do it?
Yeah, thank you very much,
Yeah.
Chris, for inviting me to this conversation. Well, I am Peruvian, and I left my country probably 24 years ago. My family and myself, we have moved 9 times in different countries, different cities.
Mm-hmm.
Since I was probably 13, I've been always focused to try to contribute from my corner and my surroundings in improving the world. That's my motivation in general. I studied industrial engineering, but I also love systems. So I study how to program a computer, right? So I understood different languages on my own. And then I understood that business is business. So I follow an MBA and a lot of different courses on technology and improvement, especially human development, because I believe that you always team in order to achieve results. And if you don't know how to relate and how to be a team member, it's very tough to really achieve results together, right?
Yeah.
So since I am now in my 50s, I also learned some different things, and I continue learning. After we finish the Exponential Innovator, I just launched this week with Francisco on the Mentor Launchpad certification.
Yeah.
So it would
Congratulations. Congratulations, by the way. There's a lot of people that applied for that, and you were one of the lucky ones that got into it. Congratulations.
I am very lucky. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. And I am very, very honored, and I believe it's a privilege to really be part of that team to learn in general, right? What I do is really a business transformation strategy coaching. The company that invited me to get out of Peru in order to know the world a little bit, in this case Mexico, is called Softec. And I spent like 5 years with them. I really enjoy a lot to do international business with them. They moved me to Mexico to be the chief technology officer. And they moved me to the US to do the vice president of e-business. I did different alliances with Ernst & Young for consulting, then with OEO Technology Solutions for another venture with Canada in the north, and then Mexico in the south, and of course serve the US, which is a very big market. And then I went into consulting for 8 years with KPMG Consulting. And I really love a lot on trying to migrate from programming to really do management consulting and understand the strategy behind the programs that companies do. After going into a management consulting career for the past 15 years, I went to a university. I received an invitation to help Monterrey Tech, the university, to really transform the educational way of doing things. And it was really a huge challenge, and I loved the challenge. I really loved the project. So I committed with them with 6 years working in doing the transformation of education. And I really trust the project. So my 2 kids, they are studying at Monterrey Tech right now. And while I was at the university, I also founded my own company. It's called Umami Solutions.
Okay.
One of my hobbies is to cook.
Yeah.
So umami is the 5th flavor, right? When you cook, you learn that when you do a different combination of different flavors, you have a new flavor. So I believe that my company should work on the co-design of the flavors that companies probably are missing, and that could be their own soul, right? So my entrepreneurship is really devoted to only 3 customers a year. So I really choose them very carefully, and the objective is to do really advisory to the board in order to first introduce them to exponential organizations concepts, and then if they agree and they want to do it, to help them in the roadmap to really connect to abundance and try to improve the world.
Yeah,
that is very important for me in order to choose those customers.
And you do it so joyfully, because we've interacted quite a few times, and somehow you have this positivity about you, this beaming, gleam or sparkle in your eye, staying moving, staying creative. How do you manage your energy like that? It's really inspirational to work near you and with you. What motivates you that way?
Thank you very much. When I was at the university, we normally held an annual meeting with the board members, and the university is a non-for-profit, and really it works like a company in terms that they have a board of counselors, because these counselors give money in order to fund the university, and the main entrepreneurs of the country are really behind the university. So we report to a board, and they have this annual board meeting, and the first year they invited Thomas Friedman. And it was very interesting because I had a chance to talk to him, and I really connected with something he told me and he shared with us, and I believe it's kind of my energy, because he told us you need to have a mindset in order to really, Thomas Friedman wrote the world is flat, but then he added and it's hyper connected, and then he added and it is fast, right?
Yeah.
So in this world, which is flat, hyper connected, and fast, the CIO of the university has that problem. And he asked, who's the CIO? And I was like, myself. And he told me, you have a problem. And I told him, only one?
Yeah.
Because I really had a bunch of them. But I learned that I didn't realize that really my first mindset is to be an immigrant. Because I am Peruvian, an immigrant, right? Because I left my country 24 years ago, but then I moved from Peru to Mexico, and then from Mexico to the US, and then from the US to Brazil, and then going back to US, and then go to Monterrey, and then go to Mexico City, and now I am in Monterrey again. And what you learn when you move countries is that when you go to a new country, you're a ghost. You do not exist. If you try to do your life, for example, the first thing is your credit, right? You don't have a credit. You don't even have a driver's license. And those are the two things that when you go to a new country, they ask for you. And if you don't have those two, you do not exist. And then everything is difficult. So when you are an immigrant, you need to see beyond sight. You need to discover opportunities. You need to do the right things right from the first time.
Yeah.
And you've lived the same, right?
Yeah. No, exactly.
You're living in Europe and you're not from there, but now your heart is from there, right? So I also have a Brazilian heart, a Mexican heart, a US heart, and of course my Peruvian one. So you love the world, right? And you need to focus on trying to understand what are the opportunities that are there and how you can connect with them. And if you do that, you need to also be like an artist with passion. An artist has a passion. Inspirations come from that passion. And that is the bright in your eyes. Yeah. Because if you're not inspired like an artist, you cannot do stuff.
So
but also, you need to be humble like a servant. like a waiter, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you are in a restaurant and you have a server or a waiter, they need to be sensible. They need to be empathetic with you. They need to be very customer oriented. They are not the owners of the restaurant. They are not the
No.
chef, but they serve you.
Yeah.
And if you ask for a glass of wine, they decide how much wine they give you.
Yeah.
If you order a dish and you love the sauce, it's their decision to give you more sauce if you
Yeah.
love it. If you have your little kid with you and he's crying, they will do some joke in order to be empathetic with them, right?
So, Pepe, where does your passion come from? You know, because we talked a lot about you're motivated to improve the world around you. If I remember that from earlier, it's probably something related to your MTP, your massive transformative purpose. Where does it? What was the original spark, or why is this important to you? And because clearly you are passionate. So what is the engine or the source of that?
I believe that the passion comes from to be always humble and to always learn. It's very important to be very sensible, to be very sensitive to your surroundings. My last name is Tam, and Tam is an Oriental, a Chinese last name. And what I learned from my dad is to, wherever I was, I need to listen to the context and try to understand the needs. And if I can do something about it, help. So you, in the Oriental culture, you don't need somebody to ask you to help. You just help.
Yeah.
Because it's part of your culture, right? It's like when you're a cook, right? Not a chef, because the chef, of course, I love to be a chef because you need to create stuff in order to surprise the people you are going to feed, in order to give them an experience with different textures and different flavors, right? But when you're a cook, you receive the ingredients and you need to do your magic in order to deliver something magical to the people who's going to eat your food. So you are more humble, right? And you are more sensitive because you don't decide what to buy. You just receive the ingredients and you need to do the magic in 2 hours in order to feed some people in a restaurant, right? So I believe that inspiration is very important because you need to do the best from where you are with the limitations that you see. And of course, over time, you learn more things. In my case, because I am older, probably, but you need to give the best you can in the limitations of the situation. You don't have a lot of time to do things perfect. You have the time to do the best you can do. And that's very important as a mindset for me in order to really be inspired and work.
Yeah. So right now you have Umami, your own. And are you still with Softtech then as well, or?
Yes, with Softtech. When I was invited to join Softtech, I was invited to join as a stakeholder. So over time I put some real money to the company, and despite I worked at Softtech only for 5 years, from 95 to 2000. And then I learned about consulting in KPMG Consulting, then with IBM Global Business Services, then with Norris, right? But then I always was related with Softtech because when you are a stakeholder, you have friends and you develop a friendship with your partners in order to do business and give value to your customers. So we always been in touch, and when they learned that I was going to get out of the university like 6 months before I really went out, they invited me to come back and to give value on digital transformation, which was one of the areas I learned a lot of different things. And I told them no.
Okay.
I told them I wanted to really make Umami my company. But then they told me, yes, but you're still a stakeholder from Softtech, so why don't you come back and help us as a stakeholder, right? And they were right. I could divide my time between these two, and I chose to continue with Umami with a limited service only to three customers.
Mm-hmm.
And in my contract with Softec, of course, there is a non-conflict of interest between the two customers, because in Softec I do projects, and in Umami I do coaching, and only to boards.
Yeah.
So it's really a different market, and they are very complementary, because what I learn in one place help the other, and vice versa, right? So I really have these two jobs that absorb a lot of my time, but still I find time to do some more stuff like Purpose Alliance. So I really enjoy doing things that give you passion. Yeah.
Tell me about Purpose Alliance for those that that aren't aware. Is a relatively new community. You can find it at purposealliance.org, and they do a number of things. Where it started was really amazing. They just call them global challenges, where teams from all over the world come together with a coach. I've been a coach. I've been a participant on these myself, and they're themed. And so, it's something about, I think the one that we met was really targeted on COVID response. I've also done, unemployment. There's a unity, sparked by Black Lives Matters coming up. But there's hundreds of people that come together in these teams of, let's say, 8 to 12 on these little pods or groups or teams. And over a number of hours, they go through a structured process and come up with really incredible, innovative ideas. And then from there, the question was what to do with these innovative ideas. And that's where the Purpose Launchpad method came. And Pepe and I have both contributed to that Launchpad methodology, which is I think really incredible. And now there is the first Purpose Launchpad certification coming up, and you're in that first cohort. But it takes 3 months. It's serious work. This is not a paper certificate. You're challenged. You're learning. You're going to have to do some extra, some real work. What motivates you to sacrifice or invest so significantly in that domain? I imagine there's intellectual interest, but my feeling is there's probably something more going on with you. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, well, the purpose of Purpose Alliance is to empower extraordinary people to create the future. And when I met them, I really, let's say, first I met, the way I was introduced into the Exponential organization was because when I was at the university as the CIO and the digital transformation director, one of the best entrepreneurs of Mexico, he's really a millionaire, multi-billion different companies, he got an invitation to invest on Singularity University. And he told one of his directors that I was working with him as a mentor in the technology and processes optimization. And he called us, Hector and myself, and he told us, look, I received this letter from Peter Diamandis. I need you both to go to Silicon Valley for 1 week and meet this Peter Diamandis guy and understand what he's thinking about. And I would love your recommendation on what are your insights on that week work with him in order to invest. If who should invest? My company should invest, I should invest personally, or the university should invest. That's why you from the university, Pepe, are doing. I work with him for the past 12 years as a consulting advisor. So we did a lot of projects to benefit his company and to give them value. So it was very nice for him to invite me and the university to allow me to go for a week to X Prize. So I met Peter. He gave me a crash course of 1 day on abundance, on moonshots, and on exponential.
Just having that opportunity is already incredible. So
it was incredible to. Let's say I was not in a course. I was understanding his insights in order to really give my word of recommendation on investing. Right at the end of the week, I recommend to invest the university, and the university invested $30 million in Singularity for that. But I connected with Peter, so I joined Abundance Digital, and then I got an invitation from Abundance Digital to go to OpenExo, and in OpenExo I met Francisco, and well, I met Francisco as an attendant, really, not him in person, but I really like the way he thought and his proposal. I already read his two book, well, the book from Salim, and also the book from Salim and him. So after reading both and after working a couple of years, because this was back in 2015, in 2017 to 19, I began working doing consulting on Exponential without a certificate.
Well, it's a book. Anyone can read it, and you can benefit from it.
Yeah.
If you want a bit more structure, there's some certifications available and support. But
now with COVID, I stopped traveling a little bit. I decided to begin my certifications. So I just finished the 3 certification from OpenExo. Just last week we finished the EXO Coach certification. And because I met Francisco, I thought this Purpose Alliance looks like interesting, right? So I joined 3 challenges as a participant. When I met you, you were my second challenge. The first one was the COVID-19 Mexico. Then I joined, because I am Peruvian, and I invited my friends from Peru to join the COVID-19 Peru. Of course, I needed to be there too. And then I thought I would like the experience of an international, a global one. And that's when we met.
Yep.
And I also continued the Launchpad in 2 of the 3 endeavors. And then I really found my home in Purpose Alliance. Because in OpenExo, I don't know why people want to monetize. They are there for an interest. They join OpenExo because they want to monetize on their certification. And I was not looking for that. I already have a career. I already have 2 works. So I don't need to monetize, right?
Yep.
Let's say I am already monetizing on 2 endeavors. I don't need a community that help me monetize. I don't looking for more customers. But in Purpose Alliance, it's different because it's people that has the same purpose on trying to understand and read the signals of the world today in order to contribute together for something bigger than you, that maybe from your corner you can help somebody else. And that's my home. So I believe Purpose Alliance is a community that is my home.
Lovely.
Of people like me that really are looking forward to do something bigger than them, like myself.
Yeah, well, on the OpenExo side, I'm not really close to the whole story, but I think that monetization comes up because even from the beginning, OpenExo really wonderfully has been a bit experimental. Like, how will this thing work? And part of that experimental aspect, I think, just observing, was what would be the business model? How is it sustainable? Is it consulting or not? And so already at the formation of that, at least that's my recollection, there was a question of what is the business model of this? Where's the revenue streams? How will value be created and shared? And that's where they came up with the Exo coin, the digital coin. And, so there's a lot of experimentation there, but there is a commercial dimension to that for sure. And what I see, Francisco and Karina and the others at Purpose is they seem to have designed it to almost be a B Corp or it's not really nonprofit, I don't think, but that question is not there. It's like, okay, we're not here to get rich. We're not here to monetize. And so it does have a different environment to it. Personally, for myself, I do like playing with both communities because it's sort of 2 sides, yin and yang. It's sort of
Exactly.
2 types of the energy.
I am doing the same.
Yeah.
And now in OpenExo, they are trying to also rethink themselves. And I am participating in order to also collaborate with that. And I believe it's the way they were born, right? Because OpenExo born after EXO works, right?
Yep.
And of course, they began with certifications, and certifications are not cheap.
No.
So I believe that's the reason, because people they are looking forward to monetize, right? But I believe we need to be humble, and we need to learn that after a course of 6 weeks, you cannot become a consultant.
Mm.
You really need to work more, do more field work before you really are a consultant, right?
Yeah.
That's something you learn over time, because a consultant is kind of a doctor of business doctor.
Yeah.
And doctors, they study for 10 years, not for 6 months or 6 months, right? So it's a process, right?
Yeah.
You need to invest some time there and work.
Yeah. I would love to hear, you've shared with me before, so I'm going to very selfishly bring it up because I like hearing about it. You've used the simplicity scan, and I've seen that, from Ebullient. And my dream for that was, you called it a business doctor, but it's more of a coaching tool than a consulting tool. Coaches are asking the questions and maybe consultants are giving the answers. And what I've attempted to do, and it's still very much evolving with the simple simplicity scan, is to have very well structured questions. So it's almost like a business doctor in a box that allows people, ideally in isolation, to be confronted and triggered, stimulate new thinking, ideally stimulate new dialogue and discussion between people in order to find, innovative, fresh, new ways to get things done. So can you share a little bit of what you have seen or felt when you used the simplicity scan?
Yes. Are you familiar with the VUCA acronym?
VUCA.
VUCA.
Yeah, the volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. Yes, absolutely.
And well, I thought about it. I learned about this in the Institute for the Future from Bob Johansen. And I always tell people that you need to be VUCA in order to beat VUCA. And you know the other VUCA?
No, tell me.
The other VUCA is, let's say, you have volatility, you need to have a vision. Yeah. And I always use the example of the Mountain Everest, right? For me, the Everest is an example of VUCA, because if you want to climb it, there is no recipe in order to climb the Everest, right? The climate changed so fast, it doesn't matter how many Sherpas will help you, each time is different, right? So it's really very volatile, but there's no way you cannot view the mountain, the top of the mountain, right? Yeah. So you maintain a vision, you have your focus, the one you have in Ebullient, right? Yeah. Vision is focus. You need to have a focus, and if you have a very clear vision, then you can communicate that focus to your team. So it's not only for yourself, because you are a lead, so you need to communicate that focus to your team and you will not be lost. Then it comes uncertainty, and then you have your understanding. Because if you know that the top of the mountain is there, you understand what to do in order to climb. There's no way you cannot do it. You know how to deliver. You understand what to deliver. But then it comes complexity, and then you need clarity. You need this very clear, and your clarity need to be simple, right? Yep. So this clarity is, don't be afraid to divide and conquer. Sometimes complexity mixes stuff, and you need to go to the root in order to make it simple, because there is no complex things. You need to see beyond sight in order to understand the simplicity, and then clarity comes to you, right? And of course, there is the ambiguity, and then you need agility, which is what you need to grow, right? This agility is the way you design stuff. If you design things with a flexible possibility, if you understand the business and you can componentize the business and make them flow alone and join an ecosystem, then you have this simplicity in order to be agile, right? So I always work with this VUCA word on the tough side, but also in the simple side. And when I met your simplicity approach, it connected to me.
Wow.
Right? Because focus, growth, and delivery. Let's say in your case, you have 3, I had 4.
Yeah.
So yours were more simple. I love
Yeah.
it.
Wow, that's awesome. It was just such a pleasure listening to you reflect back on that from your perspective and your wisdom and your experience. So that thank you so much for sharing. Is the second VUCA, the vision, understanding, clarity, agility, is that your creation? Is that something that you came up with?
No, that's something I learned from Institute for the Future.
Okay.
When I met Bob Johansen, that was in 2002. Yeah. Then I came back to him when I was invited to the university to work there. I made an appointment with him in Santa Ana because I knew he was going to do a seminar there, and I went to an event very close. So I contacted him, and he was just launching his second version of the book, The Different Characteristic of a Leader for the Future.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought my first draft strategy plan for the university to him, and I told him, look, Bob, I am now in a university. I am working as the CIO. It's the first time I am not a consultant. I am really operating. And I would like your insight on my plan, right? And he told me, wow, I recommend 10 attributes and you have 8 of them in your plan. And I was like, oh, I am missing 2. And he told me, no, you're crazy. You cannot do more than 2 or 3 at the same time. Yeah. So you have to match. Nobody could digest that amount of change. So you need to go in 3 phases onto the 8 ones you have here, right? So, and he told me about VUCA, and he told me about of course, the second VUCA, and I was like, wow. So I make it part of myself.
Yeah.
That's how I met this.
Yeah. Lovely. So I'd love a link to that Institute for the Future. I've not heard of that before, but I'm going to steal this because I love it, and I will give him and you credit when I use it. And no, because I love the when I'm working a lot on, and we're way over time right now, but I'm just enjoying this. So sorry, everyone, if you were expecting 30 minutes, we're beyond 30 minutes, and we're going to keep going. When I'm working on digital strategy, oftentimes for corporates, what I'm championing is don't ask me for a digital strategy. Discuss with me and with the market, ideally, how can you digitize your business strategy? So instead of coming up with a separate document. And what I love about this is an excellent lens to take the market dynamics of VUCA, and vision, understanding, clarity, and agility. Those are excellent levers in which to digitize, because don't go digital or don't introduce technology without having that vision of what you're trying to achieve. So don't go hobbyism and go install just crazy stuff because it's in vogue, or it sounds like it's fun. Maybe you can do that innovatively in a corner or something like that. And if you digitize or automate without understanding, then you'll just be making crap go faster, and that's not the intent, so, you're just going to throw junk at the wall even faster. So, have that deep understanding of what is actually trying to happen. And on the clarity side, I think I would connect that to customer, so if you have that internal vision, the understanding of how things work, and then what's the clarity of the job to be done or the mission, I think that would be, you tied it to simplicity, which I really like. But if you tie it to what the customer wants, that's, in spirit of lean and removing waste, then that automatically simplifies. And the agility part, I think, is really that mindset, which is don't be stuck and move and be open and be aware. So that is just an amazing gift, Pepe. I'm so happy that you shared that. Thank you so much. But we are sadly out of time. I will put in the show notes. Also, you can find at purposealliance.org about these challenges and the certifications. For Pepe, you can find him on LinkedIn at Jose Tam. I'll put that link in the show notes as well. Thank you so much. Is there any other way that people can get a hold of you, Pepe?
No, that's a way to do it. And we have the Future of Unity, the first challenge on on trying to being sensible to each other
Yep.
in 2 weeks. So you're just in time to join the Future of Unity. Invite everybody that is this to join together. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Chris. I really enjoy very much talking to you.
In 2 weeks, let's give them a date because I'm not sure if this will be published yet.
29
it's
of
the
August.
29th of August. That's like a week and a half. It's in my agenda as well. So if this is published before the 29th of August, please join the Future of Unity challenge. And if not, go to purposealliance.org and find another challenge to join. So,
of course.
Outstanding. Pepe, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Learn more at ebillion.com/podcast.